When you enter into a room, your energy or your aura has already communicated everything about you, more than any word that you ever speak will. And the reason why we're talking about auras today is because aura is the most important thing when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to building a closer relationship with God. Because it is through our aura or our energetic field or our bioelectric magnetic field that we have access to these different realms. We have access to these different realms that are connected through our chakras and our subtle bodies. So when you're talking about attracting, how can you attract if you're not magnetic? How can you attract if you're not electric? If you don't have enough electricity that is in your subtle bodies, then how can you communicate with the universe if your signal is weak? How can you be magnetizing if your magnetism is low? So today we're going to be talking about how you can increase your energy, your electromagnetic energy, to be able to be more electric and magnetic. So before we get into that, I want to talk about what happens when you increase your aura. So the first thing that happens when you increase your aura is, you become more electric and magnetic. And this can manifest in many different ways. This can manifest as whenever you meet someone for the first time, you either repel them if your energy is low. When your energy is low, you're existing in the lower realms. You're existing in shame, guilt, and anger. So now when people are in your field, they feel angry, guilty just by being around you because you're communicating through these subtle bodies. There's one body that exists that is your emotional body, or let's say your mental body. There's one layer in your aura that is called your mental body. In this mental body, you are able to communicate your thoughts. And this is when you get into telepathy, which is a higher level psychic ability, but we are all telepathic to some degree, even if it's on a subconscious level. Even if you get a feeling about somebody or someone gets a feeling about you that is like, okay, I'm not resonating with a part of this person's energy. And a part of that might be your mental body, because what is on your mind is being pushed outward and it's not resonating with people because it's an accumulation of all of the thoughts that you're thinking on a daily basis. And that is being communicated through that particular part of your aura. Another part or a layer of your aura is called the mental body. It's called the emotional body. And what is this responsible for? You probably guessed, it's your emotions. So when you go throughout your day and you attract or you produce certain emotions based off of what you're thinking, what you're doing, who you're spending your time around, what environment you're in, you are basically absorbing and like I said, absorbing and producing emotions. So the part of your aura that is responsible for storing these emotions is called your emotional body, and this is also something that people feel when they're in your radius. And depending on how strong it is, depending on how strong your emotions are, is going to determine how people can feel it. So if you're feeling really angry, then now they might feel some of this angry energy because it's being communicated through your emotional body. If you're feeling happy or you're feeling peaceful, now when they step into your energy field, they will feel peaceful. And as you will notice, as you raise your emotions, you become more magnetic. There is a direct correlation between your emotions, your magnetism, your consciousness, your spirituality, and your access to different higher realms. And that is because these are all connected. Once you see the connection between your energy, your consciousness, your electromagnetism, then now it'll be easier to guide yourself to constantly be in a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of spirituality, a higher state to be able to manifest. So at the top, you have emotions like peace, and at the bottom, you have emotions like shame. These emotions can be stored in your energy field for years. You can have something that happened to you 5 years ago, and you might feel shameful of it because it was never able to be released through your energetic field. And there are certain emotions that are stored in certain parts of your bodies. I mean, in certain part of your bodies energetically, but in your physical body, there's certain energy that is stored in your organs. So you might have shame in your liver. So then now this might manifest as liver problems. So if you don't have specific spiritual practices or a way of living your life that is able to release certain lower emotions and bring in higher emotions, then you will be stuck in your lower self. You will be in a constant existence, a constant cycle of shame and anger and grief, because they're stored in your emotions. I mean, it's stored in your body. A way that you can charge your organs and charge your chakras or charge your emotions is through your chakras. I'm pretty sure we all heard about chakras. You have your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat chakra, your pineal chakra, or your third eye chakra, which is, the organ for that is your pineal gland, and then you have your crown chakra at the top of your head. All of these different chakras are responsible for taking in specific light in order to grow your aura. That's why if you see the colors of your chakras are directly correlated to the colors of your auric field. And the more you bring in light through these chakras, the higher your consciousness will be, the bigger your aura will be. If your aura is bigger, or your electromagnetic field is bigger, then your electric field, your electricity is bigger, your magnetism is bigger. There's a correlation between all of this stuff. And if you will notice, whenever you're feeling peaceful, if you have the sensibility to feel it, you will feel your aura be bigger. If you have a higher level of consciousness, or you're feeling your mind expanded, you will feel that you have access to higher emotions. And this is what brings us to the next point of manifestation, because manifestation is the ability to resonate at a certain frequency, and at that frequency, like attracts like. So if you're able to resonate at a certain frequency or a certain emotion or a certain frequency in your aura, then now you're able to attract things that are similar to that frequency. Now that I talked about how a lot of this works, I want to talk about how to increase your aura. So let's get into it. And before I start, I want to say that there are many ways to do this, but before you can get into the advanced teachings, you have to start at the basics. You have to just like anything else, you have to master the basics before you're able to go into different advanced ways of doing things. Everybody always want to skip and do the things that seem super cool and when it comes, just like how it comes to anything else. But you have to start at the basics. So the very first thing that you have to do before you even meditate, before you even start on any spiritual practice, is you have to do this one thing. You have to give energy or grow your physical body. And what do I mean by this? I don't necessarily mean go to the gym, which that will help. But if you want a healthy aura, you have to have a healthy physical body. One, because it's connected, but also, like I mentioned before, different parts of your body and your organs store certain information and emotions. So if you are not charging these parts of your body, the amount of spiritual light that you're able to take in through your chakras is going to be limited. So if you're only able to take in 1/10 of spiritual light, then now you're only going to be able to reach 1/10 of a certain frequency. You're going to be 1/10 of that, or you're only going to be able to feel 1/10 of that emotion. And when we talk about resonance and resonating at a certain level, it takes energy, it takes light. In order to resonate at that level, you have to have the energy. I think some people think sometimes that just because you think about something, you resonate. No, it takes energy. Just the same way how it takes money when you go to buy something. You have to have a certain amount of money, and then that transmute into numbers in your bank. If you want to buy something with it, now you transform one currency to another. So you have to make sure that you are healthy and on a physical level. You have to make sure that all of your organs are working properly, because they are also storing emotions, information, and light, and spiritual light. So you could, yes, actually going to the gym does help your physical body. Doing certain stretches like yoga, or eating healthy, eating foods that are high in energy, like, like greens, and making sure you're drinking water. And this is stuff that people probably don't want to hear, because it might just be boring, or it might sound like, oh, it's just, you might feel like, oh, I'm not a vegan, but this is just where it starts. It just has to be that way. You can only take in as much light as your physical body allows, and that's just the law. As above, so below, right? So on a physical level. On a mental level, you have to be careful what you're putting into your mind, because same way with your body, whatever you put into your physical body, you're going to produce that same level of energy. Whatever you're putting into your mental is going to produce those same thoughts. So if you're watching horror movies, or you're just watching content that doesn't have anything to do with your goals at a high level, and that's all you're putting into your mind, then that's the only thing that you're going to produce. Or if you're hanging around a whole bunch of people that are negative and producing negative thoughts, then now you're going to be producing negative thoughts, because you're absorbing their thoughts through their mental body. So you want to be careful what you're putting into your mind, and then you want to meditate to remove certain thoughts. And when we get into meditation, when we talk about meditation, this is just a deep thing, where it's not just sitting in a lotus position holding a mudra. That is one form of meditation. Meditation is many different things. And what I mean by that is, the further I go into my spiritual journey, the more research I learn, or the more research I do, I understand that there are certain meditations that do certain things. And I know that sounds so simple, but it's the same way how if you want to work out your physical body, you go to the gym and say, oh, okay, I'm going to do some push-ups that work on my triceps, or I'm doing triceps today, so I'm going to do push-ups, I'm going to, do whatever exercise that are associated with that. when it comes to growing different parts of your auric field or your parts of your spirituality, one meditation may be good for this aspect of yourself, while another meditation works on another aspect. But there are so many different parts of ourselves, and there are also different parts that we can create. There are certain shapes and symbols when which you meditate on those symbols and you combine those with light, then now your aura is producing these symbols that is allowing you to resonate at certain frequencies, because these certain symbols hold certain information and they vibrate at certain levels. But you needed to do that meditation to be able to release that shape, to release that energy into your field. The same way how you need to do a certain exercise to now grow that part of your body, if that makes sense. So meditation is like, it's such a broad thing that, you know, it just means so many different things. But a simple meditation is just clearing your mind and going inward, taking in breath or prana, taking in this prana energy to be able to hold more spirituality or hold more spirit into your body, which is, you know, your aura, hold more of your spiritual body into your physical body. But so physical, mental, and we're not gonna say spiritual, because that is the accumulation of your aura, but we're gonna talk about emotions. To increase your emotions or your emotional body, one simple thing that you can do is just doing something that you love. And for me, that might be recording a song or writing a song, because I'm a writer. So now when I'm writing, I'm feeling an increased level of emotion because I'm grateful that I'm able to do this. I'm also connecting to a higher part of myself that is expressing that part of myself. It's also expressing. There's a saying that goes, without expression, there's depression. So sometimes there's a whole bunch of different energy and emotions that needs to be let out. And if you don't give yourself an avenue to be able to let out these emotions, then they will be stuck inside of you. So sometimes you just need a tool or an activity to transmute this energy. Like I said, for me, I can take a bad situation, I can have a bad day, I'm not gonna say a bad day, because, you know, it's up to you whether or not a situation will determine whether or not you have a good day or a bad day. But I could take a situation that wasn't ideal for me in that moment and make something beautiful out of it by writing a song about it. So now every time when I listen to that song, I'm reminded that I can transmute energy. I'm an alchemist. I took a situation and made it into something beautiful for other people to enjoy, for myself to enjoy. Every time when I listen to it, it's like, wow, I like how I was able to use my words and express that in a creative way. I was able to, you know, be inspired to create a harmony out of something that wasn't harmony, something that was chaotic. I turned chaos into harmony. And just the process of that, when you do that, now you're becoming an alchemist. Now you're turning lead into gold. You are existing in your God form while you are doing that, while you are transmuting something negative into positive. You are becoming magnetic. You are displaying that. And whenever you're displaying that, you're reminding yourself of your spirituality. You're reminding yourself of your God-like nature. So that one simple thing yet might be powerful. And, you know, some people might not have something that they might enjoy that, you know, is creative or whatever, but whatever that is for you, where you can transmute energy and emotions, that is a part of your spiritual journey for you to figure out and for you to learn that aspect of yourself. So yeah, we talked about why aura is important. We talked about how it works and how it's connected between different realms of yourself, or different realms that you have access to throughout your chakras. And we talked about some simple ways, some very simple ways to increase your aura through your physical body, your mental body, and your emotional body. And when when you begin to talk about your aura field and your energy and your different realms and different dimensions, this goes so deep. This goes so deep that even for me to just put all of this information into this one video, it's just so much more that I could talk about. So much more that, you know, we could dive deeper into this. So if you want to see more content, then make sure you subscribe and stay updated. But for now, I'm gonna end on that. And let me know if anything that I said resonated. Comment below your thoughts and share some of your experiences. Thanks for watching.